It's Jamaica time and once again in another music. Unaona gongeze, lero ni mweta tam kangwete na karungi tam kesabu tam nangwa kengo nzi kangwete na karungi tam kesabu tam nangwa kengo nzi
So welcome everybody to our second annual virtual event. I want to make sure everyone, when you're in the chat, make sure you click on the blue button. It says everyone. So you're chatting with everyone and not just with those of us who are hosts today. So I recognize there's a lot going on in the world right now and everybody has a lot going on and we're all really tired of virtual meetings, but I want to thank you so much for being here today and supporting the great work that Kita does in Uganda. So I am going to pass it over to our faithful MC. Jim and I were just talking, I'm not sure how many years he has done with this, but Jim McIlvaine, it's all yours for a minute.
Thanks, everybody. It's great to join you once again. Maybe next year we're live and in person where we can touch each other and see each other and enjoy the fabulous food and our creative spirit at the Piedmont.
Sorry.
So it's good to have everybody here. We're really very honored to be celebrating and welcoming community. It's an afternoon of inspiration, interconnection, and impact. How about those for great I words? Thank you so much for everybody for joining us today. As Kristen said, it is busy times still. We started this on a Sunday afternoon to allow people on the East Coast, if there's anybody tuning in on the East Coast, to join us as well, so it's not too late at night. A couple of housekeeping things to make sure of. Kristen mentioned, make sure you understand how the chat function works and that you want to chat with everyone if you want your message to be seen by everybody, especially the bidding that will go on a little bit later with our fund and need. Make sure you mute yourself. As much as we love to hear your commentary, the barking dog in the background or the siren going by outside your home may not be as welcome in today's presentation. And I apologize in advance. We do have a barking dog that may come in while the presentation is going on. So Kristen, why don't you take it away and set the scene for today's fabulous presentation.
Thank you so much, Jim. So I am actually, we are going to kick off. My little screen is having a hard time. So we are going to kick off with a poll, although right now I'm having a little challenge launching this poll. So if I can't get it figured out, we are just going to do this virtually. So we would love to start and ask you all, what is the relationship between Kita and Friends of Ruwenzori? So since I can't, even though I set this up, and Dave, I don't know if you can help me here for the polls, but my apologies. I am just, Dave, can you go back 2 screens for me? Our smooth little glitchy is not working very well here, but I would like to have everybody in the chat let me know. So what is the relationship between Kita and Friends of Ruwenzori? A, Friends of Ruwenzori is the nonprofit entity that Kita runs under. B, Friends of Ruwenzori determines programming and Kita runs that programming. C, Friends of Ruwenzori is the funding arm of the relationship and Kita manages the rest. Or D, Friends of Ruwenzori hires the Kita executive director and Kita manages programs. So throw in the chat what you think the answer is. Lindsay's going with the group answer here. All right, so with that time up, everyone is correct. The answer is C. Friends of Ruwenzori is the funding arm of the relationship and Kita manages the rest. So I think sometimes people are confused and we want to share with everybody that we are just the funding arm. They have their own board, they have their own executive director, they have their own strategic plan. And all of that is done based on the relationships they have with the community. So we've got a really smart group here this time. Which is very, very impressive. But we're really thankful that even though we are the funding arm, this relationship goes much further. It's much more than being just transactional. We have true relationships with each of the people over in there. And so what I want to do really quickly for those of you who are new to our organization is share our mission statement. This is something the board worked very hard on recently. So it is investing in healthcare and education to build economic self-reliance for rural Ugandans. So our job is not to go in and save. Our job is to help support the work that they are doing so they can create economic self-reliance. One of the things we want to share with all of you is the impact that this work has in Uganda. And none of this would happen without the impact of one man. And we wanted to just take a minute today to honor a life well led. So with that, I want to start a little something for you all.
For those new to our Friends of Ruwenzori family, you may not know that we lost someone dear to many of us earlier this year. Gil Gleason, a husband, a father, a brother, an uncle, a grandfather, a conductor, a veteran, a teacher, a director, a musician, a friend. In 2001, Karen and Gil Gleason, Reverend Scott Denman, and others from St. John's Episcopal Church in Oakland took what would become a life-changing mission trip to Uganda. What started as a sojourn to visit some of the orphans they sponsored became so much more as they witnessed a whole community of rural villagers molding bricks out of mud on a site that would eventually become Kida Hospital. When the Gleasons heard from Ezra and Marjorie about their plans to build an AIDS clinic out of these 40,000 handmade bricks, a U.S.-Uganda partnership was born. The Gleasons marveled at the Musabosi's courage and commitment to preventing HIV and AIDS through hands-on engagement with their community. 3 short years later, in 2004, after support from St. John's and one more trip in 2003, Friends of Ruwenzori and Kida officially began a partnership. While for many, Karen is the public face of the partnership, Karen is always quick to say, "It is because of Gil that we are able to do this." Gil, always able to enrapture anyone with his storytelling or violin playing, was anything but a silent partner. He was the bedrock that allowed Karen to do the work she did for so many years. After 54 years of marriage, this partnership was one that led to the work we all get to do together, the important mission of investing in healthcare and education to build economic self-reliance for rural Ugandans. So this afternoon, we want to honor a life well led and share with you the reason we are able to do what we do today. For those of us who did know him, a moment to consider how thankful we are to have known Gil and renew our commitment to have the impact that he did.
So I just want to take a moment to recognize Gil for all of us who knew him. And I want to thank you, Karen and Gil, for the vision you had to change the world. This makes me teary-eyed, but what you both did is absolutely changing the world, and I cannot thank you enough for the honor I have right now to get to lead this organization for what you started. So thank you. So now it is time to get on the road and head to Kida. So everybody, if you could buckle your seatbelts, we are ready to take off.
Hello, you're welcome to the hospital. My name is Brian Kiza, and I'm briefly here to take you through the facility, that is inpatient and outpatient department, and we see which departments and the compartments the facility has. Yes, here is our screening area. In the era of COVID-19, it was put up as a temporary structure. This is the entrance to the screening area, which is so close to the gate. And here is our security personnel. And there is a sanitizer here, a book for registration of visitors. There is a temperature gun or a thermometer for taking temperature. And once someone enters here with a mask, and should be having a mask, has to sanitize, or if he doesn't sanitize, has to wash hands. There's another facility for washing hands here. And then the time for coming in and going out has to be recorded, and the vitals also taken. Then that person has to get out through the exit, which is on this other side. So the one coming in and the one going out, they don't have to mix. And screening the area, it is a temporary structure, but very important in this era of COVID-19. Yes, here is our dispensing point, which we also call the pharmacy. Clients come here to pick their medication from here. They can visit it here, or one can be waiting for medication from there as our dispenser attends to them. Yes, here is our triage point, but all clients or visitors come here to first sanitize, so that we are sure that their hands are free from the coronavirus. Then they come and these are our waiting area. And here is our triage point. Here a nurse is always available to receive those patients or clients who need the attention. Vitals are taken from here and recorded and registered. Those who are very sick are attended to. Here is our clinic room, and here is our counseling room. Clients wait from here, and they are seen here by our counselor with our medical records in the room and well stored safely. This is the new pediatric ward, and here we admit children between from 0 to 12 years. On our right, we have the children below 6 years, whereas on our left, we have children who are above 6 years to 12 years. And vaccination also takes place at this point on a vaccination day, which is every Friday. Here is our nursing station, and those inpatients are received from here, and the vitals can be taken from here, and then given some emergency treatment, but also this works like our store. Inside here we have drugs and a few equipments that are needed for emergency care, and here is our, I can call it HDU, High Dependence Unit, or ICU. So here we admit clients who are very sick, who need urgent attention. That's why they are closer to the nursing station. But also those who are from theater, who have undergone a major operation. They are easily placed here for ease of observation and monitoring. Here, this room is our antenatal and postnatal ward. Waiting mothers and those who have delivered are observed from that room. And then this side here we have our theater. It's the entrance to the main theater, and the minor theater is this side, including the equipments, theater equipments. Stores are kept here, but also to our right here we have labor suits.
So thank you all for joining us there on that tour. One of the things we wanted to share this year is that last year we had them sitting outside doing the videos, and this year you're going to notice a lot of background noise, but that's the reality of hospital life at Kira. When you walk into a hospital in the States, it's very quiet, no one's talking. And as we walk through, share some of the videos with you today, you're going to see that it's full of life, it's full of community, it's full of everyone who is not just the staff, but all of the community comes and just hangs out at Kidda. So I wanted to share that with you. Dave, we are going to move into another poll, and I think you are going to be able to help me this time. Let me get to my
You've got it. Let me know when you want me to launch it.
All right, so our next poll for everyone, how far is Kidde from a city with a hospital? So go ahead and launch that, Dave. Dave, are you frozen?
Nope, it should be launched.
Okay. Does anyone see it? So this year will be the year of technical difficulties. So we will just do this old school way.
No, Kristen, it's
amazing.
launched. I think you're the only one that can't see it. Sorry.
There you
about
go.
that,
That's okay.
We've got 36 answers so far, so they're coming in.
All right, we'll give everybody a few more seconds. How we doing, Dave?
Do you see the shared results?
I do not, but everybody else hopefully will.
Okay, well, I can read them out. I think everybody can see them, but if you can't, 76% of you voted more than 20 miles, 16% said more than 15, 8% more than 10, and nobody guessed the more than 5. Kristen, how far away is it?
So it's actually about 15 miles, a little more than 15. But I think the really interesting thing about that is it's 15 from the hospital into Fort Portal, where the major city center is. But most of the people are coming from either further out. So the 15 would be an additional 15 miles they have just to get to a hospital, which has been absolutely life-saving for many of the staff. And you're going to hear some data around that later. Kidde Hospital is absolutely the difference between life and death for so many of these local people, because they're traveling on Boda Boda, which is a motorcycle. I can honestly say, when I was there last time, you've got mothers who are in labor on the back of a motorcycle trying to get to the hospital. And that's just the way they do it there. So thank you, everyone on the polls. Everybody is doing a fantastic job. I see Ann, our board chair, is very proud of everybody who's rocking the polls. So Jim, I am going to pass it back to you right now, and we are going to move on to our next segment here. Yes, Dirt Road.
Thanks, guys, very much. And again, thank you. A warm welcome to everybody. If you're just joining us now, this is really the nuts and bolts of our gathering today, is to show this incredible support to this amazing organization. So I'm going to give you about 10 reasons. If you remember the old David Letterman bit, the top 10 reasons to give. In your mind, you can have a drum roll. It's up to you. Usually they drum roll just before number 1. So the top 10 reasons. Number 10, your dollar goes much further in Uganda. Number 9, an educated child is more likely to educate their own children, stopping generational poverty. So that's legacy building, very important. Number 8, thanks to Kidde, in 2019, 95% of HIV positive Kidde clients suppressed their viral loads. That's an incredible number. They should be very proud of. Number 7, your support provides over 11,000 immunizations in the local community annually. 11,000. Number 6, for a child, a month of health insurance is what? 45 cents. Yes, you see that correctly. 45 cents for a month of health insurance for a youngster. Number 5, the incredible staff at Kidde who give up significantly higher salaries to work at Kidde than the same job with a government hospital. That's an incredible statistic right there. Number 4, your gifts can significantly change generational outcomes for this rural community, and we're getting on into our second generation of Kidda support the longer that the organization continues. Number three, you're giving directly to people and children that we personally know. These are folks that work with Kristen and the organization and the Gleasons. We know these people personally. We have deep relationships. So that's where you're giving directly to, not some unknown entity. Number two, where else could your donation build the wing of a hospital? I'm not sure many of you have that kind of largesse sitting around that you could build a wing to a hospital. But in 2019, you and Kidda did exactly that. Time for the drum roll, please. The number one reason, it will give you incredible joy during another rough year. I think all those reasons are incredible and important. Here's your challenge. Here's the challenge I'm providing to you tonight. I want everybody to consider to try to provide at least one pledge of support, one gift that you will be able to provide to the organization tonight as we ask. So remember, you're going to bid in the chat so you can be recognized. You can also use the direct link you'll see in the chat in a few minutes to the Friends of Ruwenzori website. You can use the PayPal account if that's easier for you at the end of our event here tonight, if that's a little more comfortable. If you donate in the chat, someone will follow up with you, believe me. We know who you are. And I want you to just double check your name, because most of the time I'm looking here and the names are really pretty straightforward. You don't get that, Thunderball 1047 or, Funny Rabbit 842 or anything like that. So it's nice to be able to recognize your name and say hi to you directly. So as a reminder, these videos that we're going to show for the individual programming, there will be a little background noise, but that gives it the genuine, real, live experience that we are there. We're there with them in Uganda. David, did Karen have a question? Should I ask to see if Karen had a question to dive in?
Yes, she did have a question. I don't know what it is, but why don't you ask?
Okay, Karen Gleason, one of our founders, why don't you unmute yourself if you're able to do that? Dave, is she able to come in and say hello, or does she have to be a host or a panelist?
Let me see, I can enable that.
And Susie Tyndall, yes, I can see your name. If you go to the chat, you'll be able to see that as well.
Karen, you
please,
should...
with a hand out, unmute yourself and say hello.
Hello, this is Karen.
Hey, Karen.
I do not have a question. I guess I hit a button, but while I'm on, I'll just say that was a lovely tribute to Gil. Thank you so much. Gorgeous, really beautiful. Thank you.
You are welcome. So I think we are, Jim, are we ready to move on here?
Absolutely, Karen, thank you. And lower your hand on that other icon and you'll be in good shape. So our first level tonight, and this is again something you'll be able to support in the chat, is a doctor's salary and supporting staff for 3 months to save lives and build trust in the community. And here's a video that Kristen will show for us.
Hello, I'm Dr. Brian Kiza. I'm working with the Friends of Ruwenzori Hospital, also known as Kidda Hospital. And about my impact, the impact of my work in this community, I've built trust from the community, that people trust and believe that at any time in 24 hours, there is a doctor at the facility, and hence they are able to come at any time expecting the services of the doctor. Yes, we have also experienced a reduction in use of local herbs to treat traditional, treat medical conditions using traditional herbs and some other cultural practices. And hence, once people fall sick, they first come to get a view of the doctor in this facility, such that they don't go for other superstitious and other interventions by the cultural leaders or traditional herbalists. Yeah, it has also increased the bonding between the community and the facility, or us health workers, to the extent that even when they are sick and they need a referral to another facility for other services we can't offer, like x-rays and other imaging facilities, they still refuse those referrals. They say at least they have to die from here because of the better services and the friendship that we have created. Yes, my availability in this facility and the more work on ground has helped me save some lives in the facility, especially emergency interventions like emergency surgeries and cesarean sections for people who come in with complications after a road traffic accident, and also those with mothers with the complications of labor. But also serving in the rural community, it has helped me make community diagnosis to know the most common causes of disease in the community, make appropriate interventions, but also through the home visits that have been making, it has made the community members very happy and pleased with the home visits. But though these days I'm hindered by poor roads, weather, and also lack of transport means to reach those deep areas. Thank you so much.
What a wonderful message. Live, practically live, but certainly lively, and you hear the background noise. I mean, you know the genuine work that's being done there. The word that I got out of that presentation is building trust, is being able to provide a facility for trust with community members to be able to come in and see a trained doctor. He spoke about some of the previous cultural superstitious practices that had gone on. So we're changing culture with practiced medicine and reasonable support. And that is what a very important thing to do. So for $1,000, this is the beginning of our Fund a Need. This is where you get to use the chat feature. For $1,000, can you support a doctor's salary and support team for 3 months? We do have that lead gift by board member Debbie Scheffler. That's fantastic. Debbie, thank you so much. Who will be able to join Debbie in a $1,000 gift today? A pledge of support to assist with Jim and Flo are there. That's fantastic. Susan Pierpoint, Mr. Hassler, absolutely outstanding. That is incredible. It's almost a year's worth of a doctor's salary at $1,000 for 3 months. That's absolutely fantastic. We thank you so very much. Is there anybody else that can support at this level? That's great. Steve Gensler, Steve, an old dear friend, and Bonnie Singler, outstanding. That is just the best. It's so good to see. Stefan Gleason. Oh, the Gleason family getting involved. Wow, that's fantastic. That is the best. Really, really, really good. Your pledge of support, it goes so far, as you know. They see nearly 5,000 people a year, 5,000 people a year in that incredible rural community facility, hospital, and clinic. So that's great. Anybody else $1,000 level before we move on to our next presentation? Absolutely outstanding. Everybody, thank you so very much.
Thank you so much. I think too that hopefully what you noticed is that Dr. Bryan lives on the facility as well as a lot of the staff, and they're giving up an enormous piece of their personal lives to do this work. So I can't thank you enough for that. Thanks, Jim.
Excellent. Oh, that's great. And Karen chimes in and says, Bonnie is a Gleason as well. How do you get your name to show up? Well, I see your name, Steve.
Yep, Steve, you're there.
Yeah, that's fine. We're going to move on to our next level of support. At $500, it's a very much needed and in-village visit from a team of nurses to provide HIV/AIDS education. Go ahead on that video.
At the hospital, we have 2 outreaches and about 1 or 2 home visits per week. We visit those who need palliative care, those who have undergone a major operation like cesarean section, laparotomy, and etc. And we also visit babies delivered prematurely and those critically ill but discharged after fair condition. What we do, we give psychosocial support, provide counseling about prognosis and adherence to treatment, also do community diagnosis and refer those we find very sick to the hospital. And we also, on outreaches, we do immunization, family planning, antenatal, HIV counseling, and testing. However, we have challenges. One, poor roads and bad weather. We lack transport means to go to hard-to-reach areas. Also, when we refer patients, most of them don't afford transport means and hospital bills, hence don't come, and some of them die from home. Thank you.
Twice a month, after a long week of work, KIDA staff load into vans and head out into rural villages to provide entertainment, education, cancer screenings, family planning, immunizations, including polio, measles, tuberculosis, diphtheria, pertussis, and tetanus, and HIV testing and counseling. With COVID, the ability to get to the hospital has become more challenging, making these village visits even more critical. The team of the drama group, nurses, and midwives all work together to bring health out to a community that may never get the critical information, such as information on safety, family violence, birth control, and well care for the community's youngest.
Absolutely incredible. So very important. They briefly mentioned in that message about the AIDS drama program. That was something that was very early on, very important to get out in a dramatic presentation that people could understand the importance of being AIDS aware, HIV aware, and try to create less stigma around what was going on at the time. As it goes back, again, almost a generation that KIDA has been involved with these families and trying to save lives. This lead gift is provided at $500 by Tim Hart and Michelle Pollock, who can join them at $500 to continue this amazing, amazing service of the village visits by these nurses in the vans. You can see the photographs were taken pre-COVID, so things have obviously changed, but the work still goes on. We know that people are going out and visiting people. Who can help us out today at a $500 level of support? That's great. Wonderful work. Thank you, Mary Jones. We appreciate that pledge. It's outstanding. Anybody else at the $500 level to help these in-village visits by the nurses? You can just imagine the vans driving down the bumpy road, trying to get into these little pockets where people are living far, far away. As we expressed, just to get to KIDA is 15 miles, and then another 15 to get to a hospital. So these vans go out and they visit people where they live, and they teach and they check and they do wellness checks. Who else at $500 can continue this work? Debbie Cox, thank you so much, Debbie. It's good to see you today and joining us. Another person, we saw your picture earlier. We didn't get the chance to reference that at the beginning of today's presentation. You looked great there in Uganda, I'm sure. And Karen Gleason is supporting it again. Mr. Hassler is supporting the nurses. That's fantastic. My dear friend, Lori Bennett, she likes the direct to people approach. And that's exactly what this is all about. These visits by these incredible nurses in the vans, going to the villages, place by place, bumping along the roadway. Very, very important work. Anybody else at the $500 level? Anybody else at the $500 level today that can support us? That would be absolutely outstanding. Remember, you can go to the website afterward and make your pledge of support there. That's not a problem. It may not be something you want to necessarily provide information on the chat. Nothing wrong with that. Anonymous gifts are gifts, and we appreciate that. All right, we're going to move on to the next level. This is very, very important. This is C-section, prenatal, and postnatal care for one mother. We can change that slide. And why don't you go ahead and show us that video as well? Thanks, Kristen.
Hello, I'm Casimir Juliet, a midwife at KIDA Hospital. This is our postnatal ward, and these are the mothers who have delivered, and 3 of them have delivered under a cesarean section. So I'm going to talk about cesarean section as a life-saving procedure. Cesarean section, it is a procedure which is done here at KIDA Hospital, and it costs 400,000 Ugandan shillings. And the nearest theater, it is at the Fort Portal Regional Referral Hospital, which is almost 25 kilometers from Kida Hospital, of which it is very far for the people around this community to reach that hospital. So many people have been referred here with many complications, obstetric complications like antepartum hemorrhage, obstructed labor, malpresentation, malpositions, among others. And they have been managed well. The mothers and the babies have been saved in this community through cesarean section. Almost 10 to 15 people have been delivered under cesarean section per month. And most of them, about 95%, have got good outcomes. Sometimes some people pay for the cesarean section. Thank you very much.
So, and I need to apologize that I missed my little Debbie Cox here. So Jim, I'm going to have you shout that out.
Not a problem. Thanks, Kristen, very much. I think it's an incredible message, and I want everybody to realize that the beautiful, wonderful nurse who is presenting today was part of the KIDA program as a vulnerable individual that was raised up by the community, and now she's giving back to the community as a nurse. So 15 years, the KIDA Hospital has had the goal to make as many mothers to deliver there as possible instead of having to go into Fort Portal. It's been a challenge because delivering at home leads to a very high infant mortality rate. Over 400 births at the KIDA Hospital, 100 of them, or 25%, are these life-saving C-sections, which are supported by the team of doctors, nurses, and midwives. So infant mortality rate in Uganda is 6.5%. That's not so bad. In the United States, it's 0.6%. So it's a drastic difference. So even the hardest cases, they've reduced the mortality rate in that area to just 2%, 8 of 430 births in 2019. That is a remarkable presentation. That's a remarkable statistic. There's a matching gift today. This is our dear, wonderful Debbie Cox, who normally we get to hear singing when we're live and in person, but not this year. I don't think she'll sing over Zoom. I don't think. She's a board member and a retired midwife. So this is a matching gift. This is where we get to abuse Debbie's kindness. For everybody who gives $250, Debbie will match it. That's remarkable. That could be thousands of dollars. So we've got some incredible gifts already. This is Alan Howe. Alan, you said in your text or in your chat, you said that you're in for a C-section. Dude, you don't have to perform it, nor do you have to get one. So, but that's good. Count us in for a C-section. We'll take the support. That's great. Fantastic. Christiane McFarland, Mariana, I don't want to butcher your last name. Really impressive. Rita Duncan. Debbie Cox said she's in for one C-section. Honey, you've already got the matching gift going. You are being abused right now. Stefan Gleason, the Gleasons are back into it, doing a C-section. Donna Hasty, put her down for a C-section. Again, Donna, you're not getting one, nor do you have to perform one, but that's okay. We thank you for the support. That's great. Mimi Hills, very good. Bonnie's in for one. That's fantastic.
And thank you, Stefan, for shouting out that you're not going to do it yourself. We'll leave it up to Dr. Brian.
Let's have the professionals do it. And they were all the way in Uganda. So absolutely fantastic. Linda Carl, we appreciate the very important notes that are in the chat. The chat is being recorded, and that's the way we'll be able to get back to you. So Linda Carl, thank you for that.
Absolutely, Linda.
Yeah, really important. It's good to be specific. That's what's nice about the chat in this instance. Anybody else at $250? Yeah, we would love the support that you're able to offer. That's great. All right, we're gonna move on. What, Kristen?
I was just thinking, Ed, Debbie said that was from her husband, so the extra one.
That's good. Well, that's outstanding. The family that gives together has C-sections together. I don't know. That's a bad one. Sorry, guys. We're going to move on to something near and dear to a lot of people that have been touched by teachers. That is, that we've all been students. We've been touched by teachers. This is a very important. This is a year's school supplies and internet access for an orphan or vulnerable child. Kristen, go ahead.
The Orphans and Vulnerable Children Program keeps over 100 children in this rural community in school. Each student has been affected by HIV, either by losing a parent, being diagnosed themselves, or running a child-headed household. These young people depend on the supplies such as soap, toothpaste, and sanitary pads that we give them at the beginning of every term. COVID lockdown has left them without these basic things for daily use, especially the girls. In addition, KEDA is providing photocopying of bulk study materials, as well as smartphones to loan to those in upper classes and universities that are receiving classes online until they can go back to school. We also provide data to them so they can connect with their teachers and ensure their work is turned in. This money also pays for home visits by the program coordinator. Education is the key to changing the outcomes for these boys and girls. Thank you.
What an outstanding program. Internet access, I'm hearing mobile phones. I mean, these things that we take for granted in this kind of first world place where we live. To be able to have those things there in Uganda, it's rare, it's incredible, it's grateful. So over the last 2 years, KEDA has been able to swiftly change the responses to the needs of children that we've been able to serve in the community. Education is the key to changing outcomes of poverty, of early marriage, of gender-based violence, which are so prevalent. That education is that pathway out of some of those terrible, despicable activities. For each $100 given, this is the matching gift again, our dear friend and board chair, Ann Meyer, will match your gift. So it's time to start abusing Ann. Susan Winston, thank you so much. Zori Johnson, another $100. I think Peter Freeman is signed in. That's great. David is saying, let's spend her money. Let's go, everybody. That's great. Tim Hart is $100 for education, internet connectivity. Susie Tyndall, Lindsay McCormick, fantastic. This is all extremely helpful. Dedicated.
Teresa Nelson, we missed.
Who?
Teresa Nelson, we missed her.
Fantastic. Fran Toy. Molly Marion is tying in for $100. Jim and Flo in for 100. Absolutely sensational. This is good, guys. This is real life-changing activities. The baseline of a good life is a good education. We all know that. I think everybody on this call probably has a degree or has deep appreciation of what education is all about. Steve Gensler, thank you so much. Jim and Flo, I think we already got you. Debbie Cox, you're doing 2 gifts.
Mananya, thank you.
Really spectacular, guys. This is a big lift. Have we abused Ann long enough?
I think so. And I just want to thank Ann for doing this year after year. For those of us who have been there, you could see I put the kids' names on the slides because we know these kids. And if you've been a couple times, you start to watch these kids grow up. And the magic of these kids getting education who would not have had education, and the number of them that are now working at KEDA giving back. We just saw Juliet. I think that's a real testament to generational outcomes for this work. And Ann, I just want to say how thankful I am for you doing this year after year. Thank you, Mary Claire.
Well done, everybody. Well done, Ann. This is outstanding. We're going to move on. This is kind of a neat one and very specific. For $50, it will fill and replace the oxygen tanks to provide for treatments for malaria, pneumonia, and tuberculosis. And the lead gift is really special. But let's watch this video first.
Here are 2 children who are on oxygen. One is a 1 and 3 months old girl. We are managing for severe bronchopneumonia, whereas here is a a neonate who is just 2 days old, who was delivered with severe birth asphyxia. And we are managing for HIE, what they call is hypoxic ischemic encephalopathy. Both children need oxygen as an emergency and a life-saving drug that we have to give them. Severe pneumonia in this area is very common, like what this child is suffering from. And also, for some birth complications, severe birth asphyxia is also very common in this place. And we needed oxygen in order to manage these children. So oxygen has to be in place at any time and in 24 hours. Because we need oxygen every time, that's why there was need and call for more cylinders to be available so that the refill time and the availability of this oxygen, of the oxygen in the facility is ensured 24 hours. And hence the need to manage these emergencies timely so that we save lives of the younger children and even those adults who come in with a high demand for oxygen. Here we deliver oxygen by cylinder and sometimes a concentrator, which is not very much reliable, but cylinders are always better and a sure way of giving oxygen. So we give oxygen by cylinder and nasal prongs. Our challenge this time has been the scarcity of oxygen at the regional referral hospital where we get the oxygen from due to the era of COVID-19, because the plant has been producing a lot of oxygen to give to COVID patients. And us, the challenge we have been having is the few number of cylinders which we take for refill and the delay to refill them and bring them back. So you'd find to spend like 24 hours or even 2 days without oxygen at the facility, yet we need it as an emergency to manage these complicated cases. So additions of cylinders here for oxygen gives us more days of having oxygen in the facility, but also when 2 or 3 cylinders get finished, we easily refill them while we still have other cylinders to deliver oxygen to those who come and they need it.
Sensational. Wow.
There's the chaos of a day at Kidder Hospital.
It's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. I love it. The sounders are going off. They got patience. It's communicative. It's absolutely incredible. I also have to say, I think their English is incredible. It's so great. I mean, yes, we need the subtitles down below because of the background noise, but I mean, I just get this amazing sense of these highly educated, motivated, fabulous individuals that we're helping to support today. And as he was saying, one of the unexpected challenges during the COVID crisis in Uganda, like a lot of places, are supply issues. Transportation was limited by the government and the ability to get oxygen on time was threatened. So the prices have tripled to get oxygen tanks and get them filled. So this lead gift, you can still see it on the screen, Jonathan West Brock. Kristen, Jonathan West Brock, there's a relation there.
He might be my middle son.
That is Kristen's son, a senior in high school, who's planning to go pre-med in college next year. Pretty remarkable. He's giving the lead gift of $50. This is not a match. This is not a match. We're not going to abuse this high school senior. He's off working today to raise the money to give the $50. But let's, in the spirit of a pre-med student, of helping out with these oxygen tanks, who can provide $50 for an oxygen tank? Manana, thank you so much. Absolutely fantastic. Who else is in for $50 for? Apparently, Steve Gensler purchased oxygen tanks already. Mary Jones, 2 oxygen tanks. Fantastic. Jonathan from David, let's buy some more air. Let's buy some more oxygen. Debbie Cox wants a couple of oxygen tanks. This is very specific. Mr. Hassler, you use enough oxygen in a day, so it's good for you to give some of it back. I appreciate that. Ann Meyer, oxygen tank, O2 tank, yes, very good. Fran Toy, fantastic. We take this for granted a little bit. Steve, you're back in, that's great. Mary Claire James, outstanding for an oxygen tank. It's not something that we would think of. I remember the year we did fundraising for a refrigerator. and to keep the medicines. And it's one of these amazing baseline functions that are needed back at the clinic and in the hospital, and getting electricity to run the refrigerator. So oxygen tanks, absolutely necessary, absolutely important, and the support is fantastic and very grateful. All right, we're going to move on from oxygen tanks to our last fund and need category, and this is something that's near and dear to me. This is a nurse's salary for 1 month. Please watch.
Here is an activity taking place in front of a pediatric ward. This activity is immunization. And the activity started at around 9 a.m. in the morning. And here is still a number of people who are not yet worked on because of the increasing numbers of babies. One activity we score highly and we overhit the target. So here, in a month, you find about 700 babies are immunized, both at Kida Hospital and in the community through outreaches. So people here have benefited a lot from this activity of immunization. At the same time, it saves them to travel long distances since they can get the service of immunization from near here. We hope the activity will end at around 2 p.m. Here is a nurse called Natamba Doreen, a midwife demonstrating how to use a self-testing HIV kit. So she has to demonstrate to these mothers so that they can be able to self-test. When positive, they always come for confirmation from the facility. So they are very much attentive, and all mothers in postnatal care are taught how to use a self-testing kit, and they always do test because we want to completely kick HIV out of Uganda by 2030.
What an amazing goal. How brilliant and fantastic, because in many ways, this is where it all started with HIV/AIDS, and that was the scourge. And that was one of the reasons that all of this came together, and just the other great good work that's come out of it. So the nurses are the backbone at Kidda, of course, and just like nurses here in the States, they work long hours, and they're battling increasing challenges of COVID. So my mother was a nurse, so I am going to provide $25 to kick us off today. I'm not going to put it in the chat. My wife and I will take care of our donations directly on the website. So who can assist? Mary Claire is in, 2 months salary from Fran Toy. David is also providing for 2 months. Mayanya is in for 2 months salary. This is incredible. As we've heard that some of these nurses are coming out of the program of these challenged individuals. And so to have them trained and to put their work back into the hospital is absolutely fantastic. Debbie Cox is in for 2 months. And Steve Gensler just said, you're going to match anybody at $25. Is that true, Steve? I can see you nodding your head. No, I can't see you nodding your head, but that's okay.
Thank you, Steve Gensler.
It's fantastic.
Kiernan Gleason, who's a kid.
Really good. Absolutely fantastic. Lindsay McCormick. Tim Hart is going in for 6 months of salary. He's putting you to shame there, Steve. He's going to make you wish you hadn't said yes to the match, but we love it. It's absolutely fantastic. I'm feeling a lot of respect and joy and love tonight.
And Jim, Lindsay is Debbie Cox's daughter, so Debbie's got her whole family chipping in. Thank you, Lindsay.
Yeah, family affair. That's what these activities are like. I totally get it. With these kinds of fundraisers, it's who you know. We're very, very, very grateful for everybody. Jim and Flo, Mr. Hassler, Bonnie, Carol, really remarkable. It's just this is really phenomenal offerings that are happening right now. Stephen Gleason. It's saying if Steve is doing matching, he's doing 4 months. So, well,
and Carol Copperrood, yeah, Carol Copperrood didn't say to everyone, but she said she's in for a full year.
fantastic. I mean, really remarkable stuff, everybody. Nurses are the backbone, as we know, and just 1 month at $25 is a remarkable savings compared to what nurses are paid for here in the States. So we're going to move on. We want to keep things going. It's almost 5 o'clock. So we want you to consider something else as this incredible fundraising and joyous, grateful giving that you provided today. You may want to think about making a monthly contribution that is charged to your card. Could be $5, $10, $25 to help continue to support the amazing work that Kidda does. Kristen can work with you on what that's all about. I was going to say the staff can call you, but the staff is Kristen. So if that's something that you have interest in, put it in the chat and say, hey, Kristen, call me. I'd love to see what that's like to set that up. But that's I know that in our NPR KQED pledging, that's something that they ask for. It's sustaining. It's something easy. You put it on a charge card. You see the $5 or $10 monthly fee. It's almost like, you know, maybe you forgive yourself a cup of coffee once a month, and that's your contribution to Kidda. So it's absolutely fantastic. We have one more big, important, fancy, fun item. Debbie Cox has put up their cabin one more time. You can see the details up there. It's just outside Markleeville. Look how beautiful it is. It's still standing, which is remarkable. It's a 3-bedroom. It sleeps 6. It's walking distance to the hot springs. Your bidding is not only going to be able to enjoy this remarkable place in the woods, but you'll be supporting the work in Uganda with your donation, but you're also supporting the local economy. Now, this area has been devastated by some of the Tamarack fire. So you'll be able to support the Markley General Store and the Stonefly Restaurant, which has new owners and is reopening later this month. Now, the timing on this is late spring, summer, so you have time to think about, but we'll also hopefully be well out of any COVID restrictions, so you could mix and match your households. It, again, sleeps up to 6. It's going to be for 3 days, 2 nights. So can we have anybody at a $250 opening bid for this live auction item? Use the chat function. I can't see your hands if you're raising it on the screen. I can only see Kristen and Dave as the hosts. So a $250 bid from Ann Meyer. Ann, thank you very much. Is anybody at the $275 level? $275. We have $250 to get started with Ann Meyer. $250 is our opening bid. Anybody at $275? $275, anybody? $275, Susie Tyndall, fantastic. Take the family up there. Absolutely terrific. Kristen Brock says, oh, she wants to go up there, dating without internet. So
children without internet, I'm in.
Yeah, but you gotta either bid or be invited. So
there you go.
Who's gonna invite Kristen up? Susie's our current high bid at $275. Haven't bid anybody at $300. Anybody at $300? We have a $300 bid from anybody else that's watching today. Any of the participants that are with us across the globe. $300 from Mimi Hills. Mimi, thank you. $300, nice even number, but I know we can get more than that. With this incredible 3-bedroom, sleeps 6, 3 days, 2 nights near Markleeville, supporting Uganda. All the money goes directly to the cause. $300 is our current high bid. $350 from Steve Gensler. Steve, fantastic. I bet you've been there before. That's my guess, is you know how glorious it is. And look how beautiful that picture is. How glorious and remarkable. This has been bid on almost every year, and it's been a great treat. We appreciate Debbie Cox and her husband for the wonderful donation of their space for a weekend late spring or summer next year in 2022. Our current high bid is $350. We have anybody at $375. Anybody at $375? Anybody today at $375? $350 is our current high bid. Anybody else at $375? $375 with $350 is our current. $375 from Mimi Hills. Very good. Just getting it in under the wire before we close this item. $375, Mimi Hill, fantastic. Can we go back to some of our previous bids? Anybody feeling generous that wants to come in at, oh, we like even numbers. Yes, Mr. Gensler, 400, thank you.
I think Steve's planning on a family trip up there.
Nice even number, we love that. That's fantastic. Yeah, but yeah, I think I could go for more than that. I think I could go for 425. Anybody at 425? Gensler says it looks beautiful. It is beautiful. You can just see how much fun it is up there. It has 3 queen size beds. And like I said, it sleeps 6. I'm sure there's beautiful accommodations up there. You can walk to the hot springs. That's pretty cool. Go into town, take a hike in the woods, support the local economy. That's very important. 400 is our current high bid. Anybody else at 400? And 425. Do we have anybody at 425? 400. Do we have anybody at 425? Steve Gensler is going to take it at 400, I think. 400 going once. 400 going to 425. Oh, Mimi Hill, you're good, Mimi. She waits until the very last minute, builds up the suspense. You know, if we were live in this room, you know, we would be looking back at each other and how about you? And how about you?
And somehow I glitched I was planning on everybody seeing each other, so I apologize. We'll get that fixed at some point.
Yeah, that would be fun, but 425, go Mimi, go. This is what Dave says. He's not giving a bid, he's just rooting you on because maybe Dave will get an invitation. One of those folks that could be up there. Again, at Sleep 6. All right, do we have it at 450? 425 is our current high bid. We need to move on. 450 for Mr. Gensler. Wow, that's incredible. Really fantastic. I'm going to give this another 15 seconds. And Mimi gives up. Fine. I think it's great. Steve, you've got yourself a wonderful weekend away near Markleeville. Help support the local economy. Absolutely fantastic. And back to Debbie Cox, thank you so much for the use of your space. Thank you, Steve Gensler. It is yours, baby. Kristen, take us home. Thanks.
So we are about to wrap up here. One of the things we said this year is we would do a drawing for the first 50 people who signed up for a Ugandan basket. And I had Deshawn pick the winner, and our winner for a Ugandan basket is Carol. Carol, are you still with us? So Carol, you can tell me what color you love, and I will get one of those baskets in the mail to you. Congratulations. I feel like, you know, there needs to be cheering and stuff. So a lot of you have asked, usually we have an online auction that's part of this. So you're welcome, Carol. So this year, our online auction is starting October 27th through November 7th. And Jim and Flo Haight once again will be labeling and putting all kinds of amazing wines on that, along with some other things. So look for an email in the mail soon, or in your email soon when we get that set up. So I want to thank everyone for that. And drum roll, Jen Gleason couldn't be with us today, but Jen is setting us up. We are going to do a virtual run over the week of Thanksgiving, and you'll see some information coming on this, but we're super excited. You can choose from a 5K distance or a 10K distance. 5K is about the length someone goes to get water every day. And 10K is about how far somebody has to go to market. So as we are enjoying our Thanksgiving week and running to the market in our cars and loading them up, we wanted to take a little time to get some exercise in and to just recognize the difference that our Ugandan friends have just in their day-to-day life. So looking forward to that. And some thank yous. So I want to thank all of our board members. We are a little shoestring budget and a little small but mighty board. So I can't thank them enough for all the work they have done, particularly over this past year. I want to thank the committee members who put in hours of work organizing and helping us decide how we're going to move forward with this event every year. And a huge shout out to Jim for doing this year after year after year. You've been such a supporter of this work and have done such a great job getting people to do this work or to donate. So as we shout, I've got a quick little inspirational video here, and then we will open up and let people chat. If they want, Dawn, if you want to put the link in again, if people want to go straight to the website and donate, they can do that right now. But as we leave you today, thank you so much for your time this afternoon. Jim, do you have any parting thoughts?
Just in these very challenging times that we're still living in, It is so important to continue to be grateful. And for everybody that has participated today, we are so very grateful for your time, talent, and treasure. So
Thank you, Vicki.
thanks guys very much.
So thank you, everyone, very much. Feel free to stay on and chat a little bit, unmute yourself if you'd like to say hello to each other. But I can't thank you enough.